Wow, that was a great introduction. I wrote it, so really tough one. How does a guy who comes from Pennsylvania in a mobile home end up in Europe making $50 million deals and working for people like Mick Jagger, Andrea Bocelli? And then, why would he fly here 15 hours to talk for 15 minutes as a donation? Before I answer that question, I want to ask you a question. Why are you here? Obviously, you're here to see Jocko and Tim and all the Navy SEAL barrel-chested freedom fighters, right? I'm here to see them. I don't know why you're here, but that's definitely why I'm here, right? Figured I might as well take it with me. When I ask that question to veterans, I get one of three answers. I'm thinking about getting out of the military, I'm getting out of the military, or I'm out of the military. And now what? How do I recreate the passion and the mission that I had in the military in the civilian world? And with your permission, that's what I want to talk about today. Is that okay with you guys? All right, rock and roll. So get ready. You're going to get ready to hear and see how you can create immediate impact in your business and in your lives and ensure you're growing your business through relational capital, creating influence, and revenue. I know it sounds a little bit, sorry about the cards. I know it sounds a little bit complicated right now, but just bear with me. First, let me answer the question, why I'm here. Why I flew 15 hours to speak for 15 minutes. It's because we all come from the same place. We come from a place of dedication and sacrifice. We come from a place, sometimes, of darkness. And Martin Luther King once said, "Only in the darkness can you see the stars." And I think it's fair to say that most of you in this room, you see some pretty damn good stars and some pretty bright stars. And that's why I'm here today, because it took me, I'm 51 years old, it took me a heck of a long time to figure out what the heck I was doing and how to replicate the meaning, the passion in life, again, like we had in the military. Say what you will, but the selflessness that we have in the military, it's difficult to replicate. But I think I might have a way to lead you there. So what is HIT anyway? This is a program that I developed, but let me explain to you a story first, how it happened. So I got out of the military in 1993. Yep, I'm old. And I stayed in Germany, where I was stationed. And I started working as a doorman. What else are you going to do, right? Doorman, and then a security guard, and then I sold insurance, and then I worked my way up, and I had 2 cocktail bars, and then I started working for a corporation, and I was climbing that mountain, right? I was up the mountain, and I was like, this is what society says you're supposed to do, right? I was a corporate manager. I had 3,500 employees. I had 3 cocktail bars. I had a nightclub. I was living the life. But why did I feel like shit? Excuse my French. So I climbed that mountain, and I got to the summit, and I fell over the other side. And everything that I thought was supposed to be the way it was supposed to be ended that week. My wife left me. My company collapsed. My 3 cocktail bars were going downhill. And I just spent my last savings on my MBA and my education in the UK. And there I stood with nothing. My PTSD was kicking in. I was depressed. And I didn't know what to do. So what do you do? What do you do? I know what some of us think about, but I also know what we're not supposed to do. So I decided, I'm going to get it out. I'm going to purge all this crap out of my brain. And I wrote it down, and I put it in a book, and it got published 2 weeks later in Germany, in German. And it came out the day the war started in 2003, which made it an immediate bestseller. And when I was writing that book, I said to myself, Stephen, you have to be honest about what it is that's in your brain and why you do and think the way you do. It's not about, I was in war and I was, on the front line and phase line Delta. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. What hurt me over there? I wrote it all down. It was an immediate bestseller. I was on TV and I realized I owe it to everyone watching me right there. 10 million viewers on my very first show. I have to tell the truth. I have to be honest. I have to be transparent, and I have to operate at the highest levels of integrity. And that's where HIT was born. HIT stands for honesty, integrity, and transparency. Honesty with yourself about why you do what you do. Integrity, obviously, Then again, transparency. Transparency with the decisions you make. Let me give you an example. Honesty. I need money for my family. I need to support my family, right? That's honest. Transparency is, there's a guy over there that says, Steve, take this package to this city and I'll give you 10 grand. Yeah? Honestly, I need money. Transparency says it's not legal what he's asking me to do. But if I close my eyes, maybe no one will notice because I need the money, right? No, that's not how it works. HIT, honesty, integrity, and transparency. When you're honest with yourself and you're transparent with yourself, the byproduct is integrity. This integrity makes you authentic like no other. And here comes the good part. Because you're authentic, you can dictate your market value. And that is why I can travel the world and speak with people like Mick Jagger. They hire me for stupid amounts of money because I'm authentic, because no one does what I do. Every single one of you out there have a story. Every single one of you out there can be authentic if you let it happen. And here comes the good part. Because you're authentic, because you operate from a moral compass of HIT, you have no duty to listen to anyone's expectations, and you learn to live without expectations. And that means being free. Imagine going home to your wife, giving her flowers, and not expecting something. Going home to your husband, giving him a gift, and not expecting something. What's the freedom there? Every time that you have an expectation that's not verbalized, you're creating a situation for pain. So let me explain a little bit about what a hit man, a hit woman, or a hit squad does to stay in that center. First of all, do what you say you will, and don't do what you say you won't do. And you're probably saying, of course, Stephen, what else? How many people in here told somebody, I'll give you a call, and you didn't call them? It's that small, right there. Exactly. Because you're creating an expectation that you're going to call, and when you don't, it doesn't mean anything to you because, it's just a call. But to them, I was waiting for your call, bro. I left and I waited and I didn't go out. Oh, don't be so dramatic. No, it's not about that. It's about you doing what you say. Stand up for what's right always. Don't ever take a back seat, and don't ever let something happen that's not right. Commit to positive change when everyone else is negative, bitching and complaining. You commit to positive change. You take ownership of problem solving, even if it's not your problem. If you're involved, you take ownership of that. And you always act sooner rather than later. I could tell you stories about how I got highlighted because of things that I did that no one else could have done, that anyone else could have done, but no one acted. But I only have 15 minutes, so I'll spare you the stories. HIT's going to bring you to the point where you're going to start attracting people into your life. And you're going to start talking to these people, and that's what I call investing in relational capital. Everyone knows financial capital, right? Obviously. But financial capital is temporary. Relational capital is permanent. Financial capital is temporary because look at Greece, for instance. During the crash in Europe, all of the citizens lost their savings. The government took it and paid the debt, and they'll never get their money back. That's money. Doesn't mean much. Money is water that flows through your life. Don't make it the focus of everything that you do. Relational capital is why I was able to build companies all over the world. The reason that I was able to have influence still to this day with the European royal family. It's also why I have influence in the German government. Me, sergeant. Really? From Pennsylvania, from a trailer. Why? Because I invested in relational capital over and over and over. A hitman or woman has no expectations because they know when you invest, you get a return, right? In the best case. Someday, some way, you're going to get a return. And that someday came for me in 2008. This is the first time I ever told this story on stage, so just bear with me here for a second. Once again, I was in a place of horridness, PTSD, you know how it works, right? Depression. I never want to use that for excuse, but it was there. And I was in a toxic relationship in Berlin, Germany, and we're driving down the road, arguing as usual. And she screams at me, calls me all kinds of names, and I feel worthless and start, yelling and screaming and pounding on the steering wheel. And she says, stop the car. She gets out. I hit the gas. I drive as fast as I can, about 100 feet, and there's right into the German police speed trap. Yeah, so, yeah, Scheiße, exactly, yeah, German. Someone speaks German down here, all right, man. So, there I was, in my car, shaking, pounding on the wheel. What the fuck? What is this? Why does this keep happening to me? And the policemen come around, and they're trying to get me out of the car and say, who is this psycho? At the time, I was 300 pounds, right? Bodybuilder. Now I'm just so you know, I'm 250, so a little bit lighter. And so I was standing there sort of shaking, I didn't know, and by that time, my girlfriend had caught up, and she said, arrest him. He's crazy. He's a war criminal. He killed innocent people. And I was like, what the fuck? Who are you? And I sort of lost it, and there was a small, petite police officer standing beside me, and I looked down and I saw her holster. So I grabbed it, I unsnapped it, and I grabbed her 9mm. And when I did, 2 hands went on top of my hand and pushed it down. They didn't pull it off, they didn't hit me, they didn't tackle me. And my girlfriend's yelling, do it, you pussy, do it! Yeah, so they stood there, and they tackled her, handcuffed her, and threw her in the paddy wagon. And I'm standing there still with my hand on the thing, and I'm shocked. I'm going, what is this? What is going on? And I'm letting go, and she turns around to me, this little girl, and says, Stephen Kuhn, I know you. I know you from your book, and I know you from TV, and this is not what you want. I was like, fuck, man, wow. You're 19 years old. How can you do this? I'm thinking to myself. Long story short, they said, go home. You got to walk because we're keeping your car and your license. So I walked home. Man, I walked home, and I went to my apartment. I went in my apartment, and I said, what am I doing? I don't have a girlfriend anymore. I don't have a job. I'm just, everything's shit. So I went to my closet. I got my uniform, my blues, my dress blues, and I hung it up on the door. I looked at my awards. I looked at the Bronze Star, looked at the combat patch, the regimental affiliation with the 8th Cavalry. And then I took out, and I looked for the combat hash that never showed up on my arm that I always wanted. And I pulled out a picture of myself, 8x10 in my greens. And I put it there, put it on the ground underneath my uniform, and I hung my uniform up. Because that's what I wanted them to see when they came to pick up my body. So I took out a K-bar, a Marine bayonet that was gifted to me by the Marine Security Guard Detachment in Berlin for helping them out. And I pulled it out of the sheath, and I looked at it, and my name was engraved on it, and I'd never seen that before, and it looked pretty cool. So I grabbed it, sharp as it was, and put it on my neck. And as soon as I was ready to pull it, someone knocked on the door. I was like, mother, I can't even freaking kill myself. Nothing's going right. So I go to the door and I rip it open. I'm like, what? And who was it? The 19-year-old police officer in civilian clothes. And she said, Stephen, are you okay? May I come in? And she grabbed my hand and without saying a word, took the knife out, put it on the counter, and led me into my own living room. And we sat there for some time. Jesus. And she said to me, Stephen, this is not what life's about. Life is about love and joy, family. And one day, Stephen, soon, you're going to have a love that you've never experienced in your life. And soon after that, you're going to have children. And that's going to fill you with a love that you've never experienced. And that's going to make you into a person that's going to want to make you give back. And she said, you know what else? You deserve it. And that's what I want for you. And she got up, went to the door, we said our goodbyes, and she walked out. And to this day, I've never seen her again, never heard of her again. And I even wonder sometimes if it even happened, if she was even real. I don't even know. So what happened there? Obviously, you know what happened. Didn't happen, thank God. But what happened there? Exactly. But why? Why? Think about it. She said, thank you. She said, I know you. Turns out she was at one of my readings when I was reading my book in front of a lot of people. And I was investing in the relationship that I had with these people, all of the people reading my book. And that investment, she was just paying me back. And that changed my life forever. And I said, from now on, HIT's the way to go. I'm going to start teaching HIT. I'm going to start living HIT and preaching HIT. And that's what I started doing. That's where HIT came from. So let me recap. HIT and relational capital, that creates influence. Influence creates opportunity. Opportunity is then now what we will address. How do you turn opportunity into revenue? What I'm about to share with you is how I make money every single day, all right? And it's why I've been blessed to have clients in the USA and Europe and the Middle East and the Far East. That's why I get to go to Morocco next month, actually on the 1st of November, for 4 days to speak at a symposium. That's why I get to go to Egypt, to Cairo, to Bangkok, because I invest in relational capital. I create influence. I wield that influence, help people, bring them together, and they say, Steve, come help us more. I attract them with HIT. I invest in the relational capital. Invest in the relational capital with them. That builds influence, and of course, that creates opportunities where I can make revenue. So let me ask you a question. Who here likes money? If you're not raising your hand, you're wrong. All right, okay, good. You got to love money for money to love you. Just a little tip from me. If you don't love money, it's not going to love you, I promise you, right? So I want to ask you something now, and I want you to be honest and think about your answer. If I were to show you right now how to make money immediately in your business, would you take action? Raise your hands. Would you take action? Okay, good. Pull out your cell phones, please. Pull your cell phones out. Open up your text messaging. Type in the number 66866. Type in the word in the message body, revenue, and hit send. Okay? Everyone did that? So, everyone raised their hands. Number is 66866. Revenue is the word. Revenue, R-E-V-E-N-U-E. There we go. That's right. I got some crayons here too, man. I had to do it, right? I had to do it, right? So, everyone said they like money. Everyone said they take action, right? I promise you, I can look at the database and about 20% of you took action. Maybe 30, maximum. And that's business. That's life. So which one is it going to be for you? The difference between taking action and not taking action is next year, this event, you standing here because you took action, or you sitting there watching your buddy who took action, standing here telling their story. That's the difference of taking action. What if I told you there's only 3 ways to make money in your business and that you're using only one of them? What are they? More customers, higher prices, repeat sales. That's the only 3 ways to make money. And you're like, Steve, come on, there's more ways than that. There are, underneath those 3 titles there are. You're using 1, maybe 2 of them in your business. It's time to step it up. So you're going to get, when you sent that text message, a PDF from me that shows you 8 ways to start making money in your business today, right now, without delay. Right now. All right? Grab that book. Get it. 66866 Revenue. All right. This is all of what I'm talking about here. This immediate impact revenue, the relational capital, everything we're talking about, HIT. That all led me to turn around hundreds of businesses, brick and mortar, online businesses, veteran community. I've worked with over 180 veterans since last October. 180 by myself online. Craziness. And it leads me to get offers all the time. And one of those offers was in 2008. And they said, Stephen, we need you in Budapest for 3 months. I was like, oh man, we heard about Budapest before, right? Talking about there's a nickname for it that I won't repeat that some of you probably know. So, yeah, starts with booty and ends with fest. So, so I went to Budapest, and the first day in Hungary, the first day in Budapest, the first day in my new business, the first person that I see is the woman that I married. Now, you tell me, if that's not a payment for investing in relational capital and wielding influence, I don't know what is. Because that's the most amazing woman that I've ever met. To this day, we're still married. We got 2 kids, as my angel told me. Got 2 kids. Happy as heck. Thank you so much. So join me, friends. Join me in becoming the best version of yourself that you've ever dreamt about. I urge you to become a hit man or a hit woman. Create hit squads. Create a hit empire. Embrace all those around you. Elevate them as high as you can. Build wealth through investing in relational capital. And create amazing opportunities for revenue through wielding influence. Lastly, ensure that when you walk out of here on Friday night, when this is all said and done, when you walk out of here, that you're already started working towards your visions and your dreams. Because when you leave here and you do that, and you have certainty, it will be. And you know what else? You deserve it. And that's what I want for you. Thank you.